speak language with pauses and hesitation. That's a problem being faced and encountered by most of the students these days. Now, but there are certain tips and tricks that can help our students to make them able to use this language fluently. These techniques and tricks have to be learned in the real sense, and they have been acquired from different experts of the language around the world. And a few tricks I'm going to describe to you now. Number one is listen as much as you can. Listening is actually input, and input. We can't give output without input. Listening to the people, listening to the speeches, listening to radio, and listening to different people talking around us. This is really very helpful because at the same time it activates our brain and we learn how the people are going to pronounce the words. By listening them, we can repeat them in our own mind and be able to speak out those words again. So listening is a really very good way of input, and with this we are able to give output. Okay. The next is practice English. Practice English with a partner. We need to talk to a partner because there is exchange of language. If you have a friend, you can exchange your ideas, exchange words, simple sentences with that partner, and he is going to talk to you as well. It means listening and speaking at the same time is one of the best strategies that can help you to develop confidence. And it's a way that enhances your chances, maximizes your chances of obtaining fluency in spoken language. Number three, learn language in chunks. Now what happens? Most of the students, even though despite spending years in learning about grammar, learning about individual words, this is not going to help them out anymore because individual words can never help us. We only learn them, we retain them in our memory, and with the passage of time, they are forgotten. So what we have to do? We have to pick up these words in chunks, means small pieces of language, just like phrases. Because even though you remember thousands of words, but you don't know the technique of using them at all, that's a useless attempt on the part of the learner. So what we have to do? We have to learn the language in chunks, means phrases. Phrases, learning short phrases, small number of phrases is better than learning thousands of words. This is going to enhance your fluency in spoken language. Okay, next one is stop using native language. Native language, that's the greatest hurdle, obstacle in the way of learning language, because mostly we think in our own native language. That's a barricade. So we have to avoid that using, because it confuses, because we are going to fall in the habit of using our first language. That's a really hindrance. So we don't have to develop the habit of using our first language at all. And next one is read out loud. Reading, that's a good habit. Read different books, magazines, newspapers, or any type of script that you are interested in. You can read stories as well. But read them loudly. It means that you have to read with a voice that you can hear yourself. Because reading loud, it helps to improve pronunciation, and at the same time, it is going to improve your spoken language as well. It tells us how to pronounce the word with correct pronunciation and intonation. Next is take advantage of free online media. This is an era of globalization, and people are using net these days. It means using online media. That's the biggest, very useful resource of enhancing fluency. Gaining the power of fluency by listening to English videos, watching videos, online movies, because this is the way that provides us the opportunity of listening to the stuff and at the same time of watching the same thing, and we have a chance of repeating the same thing again and again. That helps us to build our confidence. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mostly, whenever the children make mistakes or we make mistakes, we become distorted, as if we are going to give up the effort of learning language anymore. But that's not correct. Actually, mistakes are friends. They tell us what to do and what not to do. Because by making mistakes, it means we are going to learn something. And by making mistakes, even though we can give an example of a child who starts to learn how to ride a bike, he falls up many times, but despite this, he never gives up. It means this is going to tell us about the determination. Mistakes are part of learning. So we have to, actually, mistakes are being made, makes no difference at all. But we don't have to give up the effort of gaining fluency in spoken language.